Yeah,
know?
so I don't agree that there's a spectrum anymore. You know what I mean? Like in the
Right.
mainstream take on politics, it's binary at this point. It's you're either with us or
Exactly.
against us. And you're right. It used to be, right? People were allowed to have things like nuance. And that's gone. I mean, we talked about this a little bit the other night, playing some games, just kind of like BSing around, right? But like 2016 election was probably the death of political nuance. I think that was when it became, you know, if you don't agree with me, then like we must hate each other kind of thing. Um, and that's I don't know how we come back from it because I mean if you have watched any of the political debates lately, which I've admittedly only watched the highlight reels, but like you can tell the people who have any momentum at all are the people who are like they're putting on a show. Like regular politics doesn't work anymore. You can't just stand up and be like, I believe in this thing, right? Like Shane Gillis has a really funny skit about how like Trump broke the system, right? People used to get up and be like, you know, I'm from such and I support religion. And people would be like, yeah, great, cool. And Trump was like, Ted Cruz's wife is ugly. And people were like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, no one knows what to do with that anymore. And all of a sudden, that guy's
No,
getting all the attention.
It's the WWE.
Yeah, like it really turns into a show. And so, I mean, I don't know how we come back from it because people who are going to get into like regular politics are going to get eaten alive.
They just gotta.
And
Something bad has to happen. Like they all have to be
like a
not
full
reelected.
reset on the political system, man. I don't know
Dude,
how it
for
happens.
real.
Yeah.
So the day I
Yeah.
stopped watching news, I forgot who it was. It was some kind of senator. I don't know if I remember if it was right wing or left wing. And they're on some kind of committee and they were talking about something. I forgot what it was. This was like 2017 or 2018. And he brought a bucket of chicken into the meeting. It was just eating the chicken. And I was just like, this is a fucking joke. Like, I'm done with all of this. Like, I'm not. Nope, done. Like, what do you do? You're getting paid like $150,000 a year from our tax money, and you're eating chicken at a meeting to prove some kind of point. I don't.
And to be fair,
It's
though,
wild.
if you've ever been in like a long form corporate meeting and the person who's talking, they're just on some horse shit. And you know, like, oh, I'm stuck here for the next 6 hours to talk about like espionage training, even though my job has nothing to do with that. Like, if somebody was like, bro, you want to have some of these wings? I'd be like, yeah, pass that bucket.
It wasn't like that, though. He was like saying, he was making some kind of statement with eating chicken at the.
Oh, he was
meeting. I
using it
forgot
like
what
as a
it was.
prop? Like it was his turn to talk?
Something like that. You can probably Google the story and figure
Interesting.
it out. But I watched it and I was just like, ugh,
Yeah.
done.
Gotcha. The death of my trust in Congress specifically was the whole like we all, I mean, we can see you guys insider trading on both sides. We know you're doing it, and no one gives a shit.
No, they're all, and the thing is, they blame each other too. They're like, "Oh, you guys are doing it." And they're like, "No,
Yeah.
they're both fucking doing it."
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah. That's
And
the
that's
big
why
thing
that's
right
why the
there.
people though who are getting kicked out of the system, they're getting kicked out of the party. I mean, listen, Trump is distasteful for sure. He's like not someone that I want my kids looking up to. You know what I mean? He's just like not a good guy. But he like called bullshit on both sides a lot. And it's one of the reasons too that like I really like Vivek. He probably has zero chance. But I like the fact that he's like, listen, I'll call horseshit on the right too. I'll call it on the left. I'll call it on the right. Like you guys are out of control over here. But like those guys are getting kicked out of the party. They're not invited to the dance anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
And
I don't know who's running this year or next year. Is this year? This year.
So that right there, I think, is something that is also very important too, because you know, we should, like, democracy. Real democracy should be, if you are voting for president of the United States, you should be able to have a candidate. You should be able to find a candidate to vote for who truly echoes the values that you really stand for. And when was the last time that either of you remember really, truly voting for someone who you felt echoed what you really believed
I've
and
never,
not,
I've never
you
cast
know,
that vote.
voting against someone else.
Yeah, I've never cast that
Nope.
vote. It's never been available to me since I've been of legal voting age or someone who cared about politics.
Mhm. Right.
It is available
Yeah, my
to me
first
this year,
election was
and I will cast that
oh.
vote, but it's going to go into the ether because he has no shot.
Yeah, I think my first election was Obama Romney.
Okay.
Probably somewhere in
I
there.
think
2012.
Obama's second term,
Yeah.
and then it was like I don't think I voted that, and then it was Donald or Hillary. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, which one would you like, a brain
Yuck.
tumor or ass cancer? You pick.
Yeah, that's Trump or
Yeah,
Joe Biden. You're like, yuck.
yeah.
Right.
Arguably
Right.
worse than the first one.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, I think, you know, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, part of this comes from, you know, this problem in our country where, you know, I feel like big business continues to get bigger, and you have these two giant political parties run by, you know, some
Psychopaths.
yeah,
Narcissists.
Big business.
some psychopaths with old
Yeah.
money and deep pockets and, you know, a lot of power and influence.
You know, they're magical people. They turn $150,000 a year salary and somehow into like $10 million. It's
Millions.
insane. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
It's magic. That's right.